Hello, everyone. Week by week, day by day, we are committed to give you the voice of the young generation. What are their thoughts? What they think about the present situation? What better they are thinking for their future? And we are doing continuously one specific series of discussion wherein we are talking about success and the different elements of success. In that series, our first episode was all about the leadership skills. That was biggest component of success. The second element which we were discussed regarding the success was handling your emotions. And today, in this episode, we are going to discuss one more highly important element in the success path, that is freedom. So today we will decode that what is the relation between freedom and success. And we'll do a lot of discussion about it. When this word freedom comes in front of all of us, so what actually is freedom? For me, the freedom is the freedom from fear, the freedom from the thought of lack, that I do not have the resources, I do not deserve the best for me. If I get freedom from all such kind of thoughts, if I get freedom from envy, if I get freedom from resentment, if I get freedom from jealous, if I get freedom from negative competition, if I get freedom from toxic relationships, so certainly I can think about that I have created a lot of space for me. I have just broken down lots of barriers and I have come out as a different person. But that is my point of view. But what are today's generation, the young kids, the young students are thinking about this freedom and how this freedom is so important for them so that they can lead their path to success. So that's all we are going to discuss in today's episode. I know that it's going to be really interesting. And I hope that you all would be getting a lot of significant insights when you are listening this young minds and young generations. So let's welcome our today's guest to discuss this highly important topic, and his name is Amir. Okay, so hello everyone. Again, we are having this specific episode wherein we would be discussing a lot about success and the highly important element of success, that is freedom. So today again we are having our routine guest with us, Amir. But still, if somebody is watching it first time, I'll just request Amir to introduce himself.
All right. So, hello, everybody. For those who have been watching our series, I believe you already know me. For the ones who haven't, I am a teenage boy from Pune, India, and I run a social profit called Zeal, and we're working in the sector of personality development. I'm a national awardee under categories of writing and social service and entrepreneurship. And I have published a book, and I'm a musician, and I do a lot of different things. You can for sure find me on Instagram under the name author underscore Amir underscore survey underscore official. You can find out a lot about me and you can surely connect with me and we can have a nice chat.
Yeah, sounds interesting. Every time when I listen to an introduction, I find few keywords which are new. Always I find few things. Okay, so Amir, today's topic, it will revolve or around the freedom, and we will try to sort out that what is the role of freedom with the success.
Hmm.
Before you joined, I was just discussing that the freedom for me is freedom from the thoughts which takes me towards the lack of resources, towards feeling that I'm not good enough, towards feeling that maybe I don't deserve the success. So that was my perception about the freedom. But certainly, I want to know from your side that actually what is your definition of freedom? How do you see the freedom?
Mhm. Okay. So freedom, as we say, we cannot look at it through an objective lens. It is a very subjective kind of a definition which differs from person to person. So, as I was recently writing this research about can happiness be measured? And I was talking about how happiness is different from person to person. I was talking to the psychiatrist who told me that if you pick up a person from a slum and give him a nice normal 1 BHK apartment with basic supplies of food and shelter and clothes and just constant supply of electricity and water, they're going to be very very happy. While for that matter, if you put me who lives in a good 2 BHK home and put him in a 1 BHK, I'm going to be cribbing and crying that this is not my place, right? So all our brains are like wired very differently and uniquely, and every single person, just like our fingerprint, our brains, at least in the minutest details, are different. So as I said, the freedom can be defined in various ways, but for me, I would say, freedom is the liberty to do whatever I want deservingly. Now, this word deservingly becomes very important in my definition of freedom. So, I was in one of these workshops, and the facilitator had asked us about what does freedom mean to you, and we were having this open-ended discussion. And you know, a lot of kids, mention that if my mom doesn't yell at me for having ice cream, that's freedom for me. But okay, now they were kids, it's okay, they were childish in their perspective. There were a lot of elders who said, to have the liberty to do whatever I want. But the very important thing, if you want to be a successful individual, what matters is, do you deserve that liberty?
I'll just interrupt here.
Yeah.
Maybe you can elaborate it further. When you are speaking about whether I deserve it
Hmm,
particularly,
hmm.
so when you are elaborating the freedom, I would just, I believe everybody would just want to know that how somebody, because this deservability is also highly subjective.
Yes, yes.
So just try to connect this
Yeah,
as
I'll
well.
I'll do that. I'm about to get through that. I was just about to give an example. So, I had this person, okay, a friend of mine, who's going through, was just passed out of 10th, scored a nice 95, 96. And
Nice 95, 96. Okay, please
I mean,
continue.
that's true. So, he's got a 90, I think somewhere around that range. And he was about talking about, I want to get into this college and that college. He missed his college of expectation by, I think, 2 or 3 marks in the third list or something. And he believes he deserves it. Now, deservability comes in two formats. When we're speaking about something which is as objective as college admission, the first things first is that you have given you 100%. That means you deserve to be in the best place. But second thing is also that there are several others who have given their 100%. Now, out of you who did well, okay, yeah, I was speaking to him, and I told him, yes, you scored a 96. But don't you think there was somebody who scored a 98? Right? So, the freedom that I'm talking about, the deservability, ki when I passed out of my 10th grade, I know I gave my 100%. I went through, I churned. And when I stood at my 10th grade, and I used to tell everybody that I want to do whatever I want, I want to go to the college of my liking. I stood there at a 99.2, and today I had deservingly the liberty that no college can say, ki, we are accepting your mayor. I will say that, okay, I'm trial ready to come to you. But then what did I do? Did I do my 100%? No, I did 120. So when you are ready to not just give your 100%, but go that extra mile, that is when you become truly deserving. Now, this is a very objective one that I told, In general, whenever you talk of any kind of success, you need to look at it in two lenses. One is from your own perspective, your own vision, and the second is from the point of view of somebody in front of you. Because you may qualify yourself as deserving, but does the world do it? And yes, we live in a world where we say, I don't need people's acclaim and people's, validation to tell me whether I'm a deserving candidate or not. But somewhere I still feel that, okay, if you're not good, have validation from people out there. I mean, I'm not telling anybody, I'm not promoting go and seek validation. But what I'm saying is, say, your Apple, a firm,
Hmm.
okay, unless and until there are going to be so many buyers who are buying stuff from you and who are validating that you're good, how on earth are you going to call yourself a successful brand? Success is very, very highly dependent on people around you. So please look at your deservability in two perspectives. Yourself, know whether you gave your 120%, and know whether the people are ready to look at you as somebody who has given the 120%.
Yeah.
That is how you will deserve. And freedom needs to be achieved, it will not be given to you. So, as I said, deservably underlined, you should have the liberty to do anything you want. And that is my definition of freedom, in my opinion.
Yes. I would just like to pick a few important things from here, that you have to achieve your freedom. Nobody will come to you and give it to you as a ready-made platter.
India struggled for 100 years
Yes,
for
yes.
freedom.
India has struggled a lot to get the freedom. And at the last moment, they had to do a lot of compromises as well to
Yes.
decide that, yes, this is specific freedom we are selecting, we are choosing. This customized freedom, in other word, if I can say.
Hmm.
So yeah, beautifully explained. And two important keywords which are coming from your reply is the person should be deservable. And one important point which I picked up from your reply is not the 100%, but some more than that. And
Hmm.
to that perspective, even one more extra point I can just add to that, that whenever you are preparing yourself for that 100%, so on a daily basis, you are adding that 1 degree shift to your 100% efforts. So
Hmm.
probably by the end of the month or by the end of the year, whatever is your target for that any particular task, so that one degree when added to that 100% effort, then it would
Yes.
be a paradigm shift to your success. So
Because
beautifully explained,
yeah,
Amir.
a cake is not worthy enough until and unless there's a cherry on the top.
Exactly. That's a perfect
Has
example.
to be.
Okay, Amit, but now after this, setting the stage for this topic, freedom and success, I'm just talking about the today's young generation. Obviously, you are also a part of that generation. But nowadays, all the young generation, they are talking the freedom and they are correlating it with the personal space. I need my personal space. I need my me time. So, what do you think that actually the today's youth, what are the things from which they are seeking freedom? Like you also mentioned, that are they seeking freedom from their parents? What is their mindset? What is going in their heads which they feel that probably this is the thing which is hampering my growth and my happiness? What's going in today's generation's mind about the freedom and this personal space kind of thing?
I might sound like an old grandpa, but if these kids have the
These
what
kids, you are also a kid.
I am I mean no I mean I would say that these kids, in sense, when I talk about the generation, there are two kinds of people who who have the understanding that you cannot ask for freedom from your parents, and one who are the rebels. I am not somebody who seeks freedom from parents, but I have this very big question. I often ask to people who tell me that I want to be free from my parents' bondage and everything. I want to ask how many of them really have the courage to pick up their bag and leave. True. So we need to understand that what we are getting is, because no companies make profit unless and until they're bonded, right? You cannot do it without a bond. So somewhere we need to understand, again, this factor of deservability comes in, that a lot of students, I'll come to the me time part soon, I'll just explain this first, that a lot of students say that a piece of paper cannot define my what do you say, capability or capacity. I was one of them some time back, okay? But somebody very well explained it to me that, okay, maybe it doesn't, and say tomorrow you go there and you mess up really bad and you didn't get the best grade on your paper, it's okay, it doesn't really define you. But is there harm in getting it? If you can, why not? Right? So to unleash your freedom further, because yes, India had to give a part of its nation to form another nation called Pakistan, but we really needed to do that in order to get freedom. Otherwise probably we would be under, I'm not very sure of my facts, but
Yeah.
otherwise we probably would have been in under the British rule. Yet we don't know that. When we speak about me time and all of that, you need to define why you need that me time.
Hmm.
Have If your parents are somewhere doubting you for some reason, there has to be a reason. Either that something is wrong with you as an individual itself, or maybe it is something wrong with the kind of surroundings that are around you, or because your parents have seen that little bit more than you have somewhere. Okay, so when I give these opinions of mine, I sound like an uncle grandpa, I know, but yes, but somewhere feel that even parents need to understand that students today need me time. Students today need personal space, because sometimes there are certain things that you cannot really figure out. Today there are millions of career paths. there are millions of, you know, things to explore. And sometimes it's so overwhelming because so many different people, you know, even today, being somebody who has won national awards and has an own NGO, I still find people who have achieved much more. And then, you know, I feel that pang for a second that, am I underachieving? Am I not doing enough? Right? And I know there are people who have not achieved as much as I have, and they have the same feeling when they meet me. And sometimes I really need to sit down and talk myself out of this. And if I'm going to have somebody continuously hammering me and not giving me freedom of thought, it becomes a problem. So somewhere I feel, yes, what students are expecting out of their parents, you know, sometimes to just have their room door shut while having a phone call with a friend. Yes, it, because you know, I don't have a room of my own in my house. Okay, so I live in my parents' room. So you know, sometimes you know my parents will very casually walk in, and they don't come here to eavesdrop or listen to my conversations. They're least interested. But it makes me uncomfortable. Even if it's just tomorrow's class schedule that I'm talking about, I don't feel comfortable talking to my friend over the call when, you know, my, what do you say, uh, parent or somebody from my family is around, because it's weird, you know. So yes, that personal space, that me time is required for students, you know, to be able to converse freely with their friends, or to be able to have a sense of freedom and kind of, I don't know how to put it, you know, have that freedom of thought to be able to think widely. Because you know, see, we are always going to have mentors, we're going to have guides, we're going to have teachers, we have our parents, we have our grandparents, we have uncles and aunts, you know, who are at work doing very wonderfully in life. We all have all of them. But somewhere or the other, we are the best guides for ourselves. You know, when I meet these younger students and, you know, they're talking to me about what they want to do, how they want to flourish. So, you know, I had this one student come to me the other day in the 8th grade. I was teaching at my own school recently. For 3 weeks, I was a substitute teacher at Hutchins High. And he came to me and he told me, you know, sir, I want to go into Harvard. I want to do business studies. And I said, okay. And then, you know, he told me that I want to pick up a passion project. Now, passion project is something, you know, that is one of the requisite kind of a thing which makes your profile stand out when you apply to Harvard. And, you know, he said, what can I do? I had 15 ideas in mind. I could rattle it off to them immediately. But I just told him that it's okay, you know, Arav, think about it. I'll tell you tomorrow for sure, but I want you to think, you know, what is your passion and what project you will pursue. And when he came back to me and he gave me a detailed analysis of what his project was going to be, I actually let him go to a separate room in the school in the zero period. That is a 45-minute period when we do, you know, when students usually complete their work or, you know, are engaged in different activities at school. I let him sit in a separate room. And then when he came to me the next day, all right, and he showed me that thing which he wrote without internet. Okay, no research, nothing, just his own brain working alone in a room. It was so much better than a lot of my own well researched ideas. So, you know, that kind of freedom of thought is very necessary. But at the same time, saying that I want freedom from my parents and I want liberty is very, very extreme that we're talking about. So, yes, that is what I feel about today's generation outlook on freedom.
Got it. In fact, a very beautiful point I got here from your replies that I could imagine in this way that I'm sitting in a room, it's full of air conditioner, it's chilling with at 18 degrees Celsius temperature. But still, the moment I switch off that AC and open the door, and if the air is so fresh outside and that air is coming to me, so I believe that is a comparison you are telling here. So I need nobody around me and I need the thought should be freely flowing in my entire body, not only in my head. I
Hmm.
believe that is the freedom you are talking about. And probably the example which you have given about that young student who did a phenomenal work when he was sitting alone, so I believe that could be the feeling of the young generation, which they are feeling that could be a kind of restriction from them. That is
Hmm.
my understanding
True,
from
true.
your replies.
Because
Okay.
again, you know, because this
Hmm.
freedom can lead to a lot of wrong things also.
Yeah.
You know, we need to kind of curb. There is a limit to everything, I feel.
Hmm. Hmm.
As far as we speak of sky is the limit, but there is a limit called sky. So,
Hmm.
you know, We have to kind of.
Certainly, we are not talking about, it's not a parents bashing
Hmm.
discussion, but yes,
Yes.
they are right at their place. But it's a good understanding, because being a parent, I can also understand whatever you are saying.
Hmm.
That yes, they also have their own space wherein they can think
Hmm.
properly. Like we
Hmm.
give a proper space, a proper temperature, a proper soil, a proper environment for the seed to germinate. Similarly, in to the youngsters, they need a certain set of environment when they want to germinate their thoughts. So pretty well, I could understand about this specific parents' freedom topic. Yeah, wonderfully. But Amay, now one more point is coming here. Again, I'm talking about the teenagers' perspective again. Nowadays, every teenager, once they are not the teenager, they are waiting to be a teen. Once they turn teen, they are waiting to be plus 18. They are waiting to be adult. And then they free that once I will be 18, I will be having a lot of freedom. I will be able to do a lot of things. But this 18, is it just a number from which they are seeking the freedom? Because ultimately they are doing a lot of things once they are not 18. So why this mental block is there with the students or with the young generation, and why they are feeling that once I'll be 18 I will be lot free? What freedom they are thinking in terms of this specific number which is 18?
I think that is how our brains have been programmed over time. Uh, want to ride a scooter, touch 18. Want to own a car, touch 18. I mean, I cannot register my NGO now, although I'm doing great work because I'm not 18. So,
Voter ID plus 18.
everything, it's plus 18. And, it makes sometimes, somewhere like, something as crucial as, say a voter's ID, or, maybe a driving license. Probably there is well researched reasons for why you do that. But when we speak of something like opening your own firm, or starting your NGO, why do we curb it at 18? I mean, what's the reason? I mean, I understand that maybe you're trying to say that the kids won't be able to handle the kind of inflow and outflow of money, but I mean, an NGO shouldn't be a problem. When it comes to firms, if they have somebody who is guiding them and they trust them enough, shouldn't be a problem. So, I think, in general, because I am also below 18, so it has been hammered on our head that everything you do has to be post 18. Everything big that you will do has to be post 18. And that somewhere leads a lot of the students to kind of, also hope to drink after 18, smoke after 18. I mean, there are kids who drink and smoke before 18 also.
And one more very big thing, watch the content on the social media that is
Oh,
18 plus.
yes, yes, yes. So, but the thing is that, there are some kids, who will try and say that I'm sincere, I'm good, I'm going to do it after 18, like legally. It makes no sense sometimes, okay? So, I think that has been hammered onto us over time. But I think it's high time that we youth, unleash our expertise and our skills before we turn 18. Can't register my NGO. I don't care. I will somehow or the other find a way how it goes ahead. I can't have my own firm. I can register under somebody's name and then have take over. I'll do it. I'll start off. Because I think that freedom we need to create for ourselves. We know we deserve it. We know sometimes, you deserve it. It is in front of you. Everything is there. But you need to learn how to use the utensil. It's there on the plate. Know how to put the fork in it. So, I think this is a place where we as youth need to kind of rewire our beliefs and our understanding of what that number 18 really means to us, and work forward on unleashing our potential at a younger age. And at the same time, if possible, I don't know, like now this become like a cultural and traditional thing that 18 is the age. But if possible, I think as adults, we need to stop. uh, I mean, the adults need to stop, kind of telling their kids that 18 is the bar, because somewhere we need to just normalize doing things before 18 around the globe. You know, this is something I think needs to be like really, really inculcated in, today's world. Because if I drink before 18, it is wrong, but drinking after 18 is not the best thing to do either. But at the same time, if I'm trying to open an NGO before I'm 18, it's good. and whether I'm doing it after 18, that's still good. To understand this black and white kind of a combination, to be able to figure out where I want to put my resources and my mind to, because I have been given a beautiful brain and I need to put it to the best use. Where, how, I need to figure it out. And unless and until I have a hands on experience on something, I can't really do it. So I think, as I said again, we have to really, really sit and segregate our thought process and barriers.
What I could understand here is now we have started telling that this generation is faster than the older one. Their thought process is different, their growth is faster. And this 18 age bracket has been decided a long back. And we
Hmm.
are still on that 18 age bracket. So I believe a lot of research is needed on this particular number, that maybe there could be a different kind of questionnaires, maybe could be a different kind of interview session, that if you feel that yes, the mental level is up to the mark of 18, to the level which probably the policy makers have thought that yes, that would be the level of development of the brain. But if the student, or if the person has achieved that level of brain development, so probably we can start thinking in that direction. And a lot of surveys and researches could be done to just
Making it,
yeah, to just correct that number.
yeah, just start making it subjective. It is
Exactly.
different from person to person. As my history teacher used to tell me, we used to ask Miss, why 18? We know what political situations, we know exactly whom to vote. She used to say that you know this, but there are people in the rural areas who do not have access to such information. They don't have an idea. So then this makes me wonder, why not subjectively? I mean, think of equity rather than equality, where, if I have the understanding of how the political systems are working, why not give me the right to vote? While, somebody who is still to come to that level, let them take their own time. I mean, this all can always be done. And I think, but it's very difficult to put in place kind of a system.
Exactly.
But if
Exactly.
worked on, I think India is, or for that matter, any other country in the world is very capable of doing that.
Good discussion till here. But now I want to just ask one straightforward question. We are discussing a lot about freedom, and we want to connect two dots here, the freedom and the success. Though you have given very beautiful points till now about the success as well. But
Hmm.
straightforward, if I ask that this is freedom, this is success. So,
Hmm.
what is the correlation between these two dots? If a person is having freedom, then this freedom will lead towards success, or the different way, if I'm successful, then I would be having freedom.
Hmm. It's quite interdependent. Sometimes freedom leads you to success, sometimes success leads you to freedom. In a sense that you need a lot of freedom to be able to think on a wide plethora, to be able to go and explore a lot of things and reach where you want to. You probably, there is a ropeway to the mountain top, but you want to take the trekking way. So you need to have the freedom of choice, and then you take, and then you achieve success, that I actually trekked the entire mountain. At the same time, sometimes, as we spoke about achieving that set of marks, you achieved success, you achieved those marks, and now you have the freedom to go ahead. So I mean, they're quite interdependent, but I think ultimately, if you look at it, it is freedom which is going to lead you to success when you talk of ultimate success. So I'll just tell you what success in my opinion is. That success can be small success steps. Okay, that, oh, I did very well in my 10th boards, success. 12th boards, success. I got the best university, success. I cleared the university as the valedictorian, success. I got into the best university for masters, success. I got in the best firm for my career, success. I became the CEO, success. Under me, my final aim was that under me, this specific company should become the biggest one, and should achieve such a target. That is my ultimate success. I wanted to be the CEO of the biggest firm on the planet, and I have achieved it today. That is ultimate success. But you have achieved a lot of smaller success steps as you went there, right? So it depends on what success you're talking about. If you're talking about the small ones, we achieve it on a day-to-day basis. I had to get up at 7 o'clock today. I got up at sharp 7. Success.
Without
So
snoozing my alarm, that is a success.
this, you know, I had decided that today, whatever it happens, I am going to do this interview with Dr. Bansal. Success. I did it. I made it happen. So, we do these smaller things, and, it kind of leads us to a certain level of, achieving number of successes, as I would say. But somewhere we all have that goal in life. I'm not talking about purpose of life. Purpose is different, the underlying thing below anything you do. But, we have a materialistic goal, I feel. And that goal, that ball that is shining at that top, and we have like rigorously trekked and climbed and fallen and gotten up and I mean probably flown and swum and don't know what all we have done. Once we reach, then we grab that ball. That is ultimate success. And to do that, you need to have the freedom to fall. You need to have the freedom to get up. You need to have the freedom to try again. You need to have the freedom of choice. You need to have the freedom of thought. So I think freedom ultimately leads to the ultimate success. But as I said, everywhere, when you look at the smaller success and the smaller freedom, it's always back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I think that is how success and freedom are related. But as I said, success is a very, very difficult thing to describe because, as the other day I was talking to somebody who, has done a lot of things in life, has achieved, was an international marine diver or something, and, had topped one of the best institutes of engineering in India and stuff like that, and was now doing an MBA. And she said that I am still trying to achieve my dream. I want to be a person ki whatever I say, accordingly the managerial decisions in the firm should be taken. I'm still to reach there. While she said that there is another friend of mine who has not yet done, like, has not probably achieved as I have. I mean, on paper, might not have, topped any university, but she always dreamt of becoming a music teacher in a school. That was her final ultimate success, and she's achieved it. So although this girl has achieved so much and is now in the best MBA school in India, she is still on her way to success. While the other girl, who has already gotten into uh, a school and has started teaching as a music teacher, is successful. So success, that ball is, at what height, at how far it is, depends on what we are dreaming of. But again, we can never say that their dreams are small and mine are big. Because a dream is a dream. You never know how much they have, toiled and toiled to reach that dream. So, I had another friend of mine, who was talking to me, like he was a younger junior to me. And he was talking, they were like tiny tots, sixth graders, seventh graders, and they were, talking to me and they spoke about, so, I asked them, what do you want to become? And, one of them, he said, I want to become a multi-millionaire and, I want to start 2, 3 businesses and all of that. And, and I was like, cool, that's great. And then, he asked the other one. I mean, I asked the other one that, what do you want to become, child? And, he's like, and then, the one who answered first, no, he just wants to become a CEO of some company. And I just kind of giggled at that. And I was like, do you know somewhere setting up your own business is easier than becoming a CEO? Because when you want to set up a business, you are the boss from the start. You have the liberty, you have a lot of freedom. While when you're trying to become a CEO, you have to go through so much of listening to people, kind of the corporate politics. You need to understand how things work. You need to get through so many deadlines, bend low, stand high, beat the other, even though he's your friend, and get through so much to become a CEO. I mean, that doesn't mean that setting up a business is going to be far more easy. It's going to be difficult as well. When we talk about building a business, you have nothing in front of you. You have to like start from scratch. But when you're trying to become a CEO, you already get into an organization. You just have to climb up the ladder. You can look at it in different perspectives, right? So, but we can never say that, oh, he just wants to become a CEO and I want to start a business, right? I mean, they were kids. It was a childish expression. That's all right. But this happens even in adults. I mean, people my age, people older to me, people, for my parents' age also. We have these biases. We try to compare ourselves to others and our dreams to others. And the moment we start doing that, our ball starts falling down, because we say that oh, he's not doing so much. Why am I putting my expectations so high? So if that person's dream was to get into Delhi University and mine is to get into Harvard, it's okay. University is equally too tough to get into. Although Harvard sounds like there and Delhi University sounds here.
It again depends that what is the perception of that individual.
Perception, background, resources. There's so much, again, subjective. So success is very difficult to define. But in simple terms, when I have to tell somebody what success means to me, is when I have caught that ball, I have unleashed all kinds of freedom and potential, and I've reached that top point where I say that I wanted to reach here for life. This was my ultimate materialistic goal, and I have achieved it. That is success for me.
Only one point, beautifully you have explained. Just one point I would like to add on here. Probably you might agree with that. That when you are talking about that golden shiny ball of success, which is maybe the 100 ladders up today. But once you reach to that 100 ladders up and you have grabbed that golden ball, probably after reaching to that 100th floor, you will see that there is more 100 steps which I have to climb. So
True.
again, you will have a different success goal. Again,
Yeah.
you will means you will keep on climbing and climbing and climbing. So I believe the thing which is the ultimate success, it will keep on happening in your life. You will keep on collecting those golden balls again and again and
Mm.
keep on collecting in your bucket, in your basket. Now I'm having 10 success ball, I'm having 100 success balls.
Yes, because that's what I think one of these ads say, success is a never-ending race for perfection. As we speak about purpose in life, purpose in life is too divine. Okay,
Yeah.
so when we say I want to live in a utopian world, it's probably never going to happen. But everything, every big ultimate success that I achieve lands me closer. So, probably when I will die, I know that I was able to create a world which was slightly more utopian than the world I was born in. So if you have a set purpose of life, you will never ever, end at an ultimate goal. Yes, you will feel successful when you have got to there, but then your scope of vision will increase, and you'll see more. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that's something you really, really added on to that answer. I think I missed it out.
True, true, true. Okay, so I actually wanted to ask that what is the success to you, but you have already defined it, the meaning of success. And now I'm coming to towards a little end of this conversation, asking a very simple question so that everybody would be able to conclude our discussion. See, what I believe that the meaning of freedom is when a person is having an attitude which is perception free. Perception free means from any situation, from any event, from any person. Any situation, any event is happening, and once the event is over, for example, any match is going on, and once the match is over, then I will be free to create my own story that who played well. Sachin was playing well, or Dhoni was playing well. Dhoni did many mistakes. Sachin could not play well today. Means I am free to have my own perceptions once the entire event or once the entire story is over. So can we just conclude in this way that the sense of freedom, I mean, the sense of feeling of freedom of that specific thought. Once I have started feeling that, yes, I am free to think about anything for that particular person, for any particular event, for any particular situation. And once I'm having this kind of thought process, wherein I'm able to think anything about any person, situation, or any such kind of thing in my life, so that could lead me towards the success, or that could be the conclusive remarks towards the freedom.
We could. So, as we're talking about two things here, freedom of thought
Hmm.
and freedom of speech. Freedom of thought is something which should never be bound.
Hmm.
You look at a person and you feel judgmental, you start judging in your head, it's okay. You know, let your mind process, because unless and until, if your mind is going to hold it back, it's going to come to your tongue sometime. Or, at some point, you're going to feel choked around that person, even though now your perception is good. So if you've already let your mind think of those thoughts and get rid of them, now you're open to perceiving what that person actually is.
Hmm.
But when we speak about freedom of speech, we need to cut it short somewhere. We are free to speak anything and anything and everything we want. But there's a very important line, I believe, in the Indian Constitution. I remember I studied it in the seventh grade. It says you have the freedom to say anything and everything you want without hurting the sentiment of others.
Exactly.
Very, very important. All right. So you have the freedom of thought. Sometimes, you cannot keep it and you feel giddy. Oh, no, no, that's too funny. Her hair color is too bad. I really need to say it to somebody. Go away and say it to yourself, or go away and say it to a friend. All right. Now it's in, this is something which is very different from as what is very generally called back bitching. All right. Back bitching is when you constantly do it, but sometimes it's okay. You felt very judgmental and you had to get it out of your system to somebody, but you didn't want to hurt that person. So, you just went and said it to somebody, to get it off your chest, which is okay. So give yourself that kind of freedom. But, again, don't hurt somebody. With that said, you have to kind of keep churning, freedom of thought is something like it's like what could you say, a rope which is in a box. And the more you turn the handle of the box, the more the rope comes out. So, you can say you need to constantly keep turning that wheel over and over and over and over and over again, because that rope is never going to end. You have to keep yourself giving more wider and wider platforms for freedom for thought. You need to be able to allow yourself to think ahead of what you already do. And it sounds impossible, it seems meaningless. Like, I mean, if I cannot only think, how will I think of giving more than I think? I mean, even the statement sounds so confusing. No, how do I think of giving myself more than I already think? Absolutely true. But you need to kind of explore, keep an explorative kind of an outlook towards everything you do. I know that you want to probably do computer science engineering only, you have decided, and be firm on it. Being firm on your decisions is very important, but doesn't mean that you could read up a little bit about psychology, you could read up a little bit about economics. Say tomorrow you have to write a program about business administration or something for some business firm. I mean, that thing would help. It would make you a better person at that job. So, keep freedom of thought, because just being job efficient is different from being versatile, is being different from being a wonderful human. So I think that is important. And yes, give yourself that freedom of speech without feeling caught out also. Because I have seen it's happened to me also. When we go in these bigger conferences, we go in these meetings, we meet these people, and there are so many. When I was like, I went to my school as a teacher, I was standing with the teachers who have taught me just a year back. And I used to refuse to enter the staff room. I was like, Miss, I cannot come in, because we remember that line just in front of the door that we had. I mean, it was like that Lakshman Rekha for you cannot step in. I mean, the biggest mistake you'll do in life. I mean, the biggest wrong thing. So, I used to refuse. Over time, I got adjusted and I started entering. So, even in these settings, this was a very peculiar setting that I'm saying, but in general, also in conferences and stuff, we see so many people who have so much more experience than us, who have so much of more understanding of the topic. But all right, you had a thought, give it away, speak it out, give yourself that freedom, because sometimes what you speak is so illuminating as compared to what the others have to say, in spite of their experience. This has happened with me when I was in organization. This has happened in my organization. That yes, Samaira, my co-founder, and I have worked a lot in these social profits, but that doesn't make us the sole, god of all of it. You might be somebody new who has so much of a new outlook at the very perspective that we're looking at. So, these things happen. So give yourself that freedom of thought, that freedom of speech, and very importantly, freedom of choice. And that will some way, somehow, with the expanding horizon with freedom of thought, the increase in confidence with freedom of speech, and the right decisions made by the freedom of choice, which will ultimately lead you to that ball of success.
Beautifully correlated. So it means freedom of thought, I can just understood in this perspective that freedom of thinking, but yes, yet at the same time, you should have the capabilities to understand that whatever you are thinking, that is a doable thing for your betterment, for others' betterment, and that particular thing you have to just execute at the right time. So when you combine this entire, when you are having the complete setup at your place, then you can say this, yes, I am having freedom to do all the things. Probably in this way, we can just conclude this particular point.
Truly deserve it.
Truly deserving. So, a few key points I will just like to reiterate again. Freedom, we have discussed about the deservability. We have discussed about the potential. We have discussed about the climbing the ladders and achieving your success again and again and again. But yet at the same time, develop two important skills in yourself, that success is not the ultimate goal. You will keep on getting success if you are having the perfect sense, the perfect consciousness, and one very important word you have mentioned in the entire conversation, that these all the things are highly divine in nature. So once we start understanding this particular word, don't connect it with any kind of religion, anything else. It's a divine intervention. If you are doing with the right intention, right time, right mode, right action, then definitely all these things will fall in place automatically. This is just to happen. Nobody can stop your success and everybody's success. I believe that's a message, Amay, you wanted to give, which I just put it in few words, which I could understand from your perspective. But I'm very happy that the students, the youngsters of your age, are having that much wide perspective and wide thought process about such important topics. So that's really heartening to listen. The young students, and that was the motive to start this specific channel and this particular section of this episode. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Amay. Anything else which I missed to ask in this in the context of this particular topic, so you can conclude?
Not really, but I would just like to leave a small last concluding words. Um, to all the youngsters out there, I'm just like you. I know when I speak, I'm sitting in an interview and speaking about all of this, it sounds like, oh no, he's talking out of research. I have a blank book right here in front of me. I can probably show it to you. Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
visible.
blank book. Yes, there's nothing at the back, there's nothing in the front, nothing at all just blank. Whatever you can see here is me planning for my LORs and everything. It's not even any notes related to this topic. All right. This is purely my thought process. And I have somewhere come here because of my freedom of thought, freedom of speech, freedom of choice. And today we have this ultimate freedom of choice. It can be as basic as starting your own Instagram page. Instead of putting pictures of dogs and your own party hats, I mean, that's fun. I know, have your personal life. Start a lifestyle page. I mean, a lot of you are into lifestyle, into fashion, or into cars, could be for the boys, can be anything. Get through that, start something worthwhile. Put some meaning to your life somewhere. And I think that will ultimately lead you to find out your purpose in life, your ultimate goal in life, and will lead you towards success. And the freedom that you'll unleash on the way to success is just unimaginable. And I am tasting a part of it, and I can just tell you it's too divine to be even described. So, you need to do it yourself and give it a try. And as far as I said, that if any of you, if some adults are listening to me and, probably they are more experienced than me to understand this, but, you know, if you reach that ultimate success and, sometimes you come to there and it's very cloudy around and, you're grabbing that ball and you're looking up and like, now what? This is going to happen. Give yourself time, you know, there was a time when like Louis Tomlinson, he's a One Direction fame, and I'm just a 1D fan, so I've always quote that. And when One Direction kind of went on hiatus, and they kind of the hiatus happened, and they went separate ways, and haven't really come back as of now, sadly. So he said, when it stopped, when One Direction stopped, he just sat in his room and he was like, now what? And that's going to happen because all this while he was holding that ball of success in his hands. Or then he's still holding it, but now it's kind of dimmed a little bit for a while. and he still has to look at something forward. And that is when he probably saw his solo career coming. Probably Harry Styles was sitting in his room with that same ball, and then he saw his acting career coming, his solo music career coming. You will find something. That life is never ending journey. Every ball you grab, you'll find another one. I know you have worked a lot for this one, but it there will come a time when you have to put it in a basket, put it on your back, and go ahead for another one. you know but one thing is that put it in such a bag that you don't carry the baggage of your success around. Don't go around trying to tell people that I have done this, because you have to go wherever you go as an open book, because that's what I personally feel. When I was doing this decent internship at Tribes for Good, it's a social profit organization, and we had to carry um an object each and describe what we feel about it. I had taken a blank book, and which maybe some people thought was the dumbest thing to carry, because like, just I didn't find anything, pick up a book and go. So probably which one I'm going to write into. But I told them that I'm not going to write in this book. I'm just going to keep this as the TFG book for me, because it was my object which signified that I have come here. I know I have won a national award for social service. I know I have my own NGO. I know I am running 3 internships all the time. I know I have run 15 others before. But I am here today because I want a new experience. I'm here today to learn. I'm not carrying my baggage of the kind of success I have had in social service and the kind of knowledge I have. Because I know that those people out there are going to teach me something. The fellow students are going to teach me something. And that's what Priyanka Chopra said. I'm a huge fan of Priyanka Chopra, the best Indian representative in foreign land, I would say. She said that when she goes to, these movies and, castings and everything, she goes with a portfolio. Okay. Priyanka Chopra, like the fame, she goes there. She's ready to give an audition. She's ready to churn because she loves acting. She's passionate about it, and she wants to do whatever she can to get through and get that role. She doesn't carry the baggage of her being an international fame and a great Indian actress and going around and trying to establish her. She won't go there and say, "Nah, I'm Priyanka Chopra, give me the role." She'll go there, she'll audition, she'll show them I deserve it, in spite of her portfolio being enough to tell that she deserves it. So I think that is something we need to learn. Taste that freedom on the way, hold that ball of success, and when you feel now what, wait a second, you'll find it, and then go ahead with a bag on your back. But that bag shouldn't be a weight which acts like a baggage for you, because the stairs are going to be like this, and if you're going to have a weight on your back, you're going to fall back. So that's I know I went a little overboard with my concluding words, but those are my concluding words for today. Yes.
Thank you, Amit. And last one word, not word, I will say just one sentence more I will add to your concluding remarks. Be the success or the failure. Do not carry the baggage along with you. Not only the success, but also the failures. Just keep it aside and then start moving to your next journey, to your next path, because you never knows what is lying on the other side for you.
Take the
Everything,
wrapping of the paper, the
yes,
experience.
everything will keep on coming to you. You just keep on doing your work, and means that is the reason I love a lot the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. That keep on doing your efforts, keep on doing your work, and the results will eventually fall in place for you. So that's it. And a lot to be discussed more. We don't know how to end this discussion, but yes, we have to just give it a full stop for today for this specific topic. But yes, we will keep on coming with Amir for more such interesting discussion, for more thoughtful discussions wherein he's just sitting with a blank page. And I like blank pages because if the page is blank, then only I can write over it. If it is already full, I cannot write anything over it. That's why I'll always like the blank pages. Thank you, Amit. Thanks a lot. And if any other student, any other youngsters is getting inspired by this boy who is sitting just in front of me, so you just feel that you are also a part of this community, you are also a part of this group, keep writing to us so that we will start discussing more with you as well on such interesting topic. Thank you, Amay. Thanks a lot. We will catch it up again on with some specific and interesting topic. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.